Rhino, pretty significant where we are. Turtle hatchery behind us. Tell us about what happens from there into the ocean.
But this is actually the most amazing venture in this area. It's run by locals, and this hatchery is also a conservation center. So what they do is when the turtles lay their eggs on the beach at night, they would go out there and they would harvest the eggs within 24 hours before they can be poached, and then transfer the eggs to a hatchery here behind us. They will then keep them under guard there, and I've seen up to 19 nests at one point in time being kept at the sanctuary. And then once the eggs hatch in about 50 days, the hatchlings are typically 50 to 100 per nest. They would then all be transferred to the beach and then released into the ocean in the morning. Now, since most of the young turtle casualties happens either in the egg stage on the nest or otherwise on the beach towards the sea, what these people are doing is fantastic in terms of giving these turtles a better chance to survive in the ocean. Only about 1 in 1,000 of the hatchlings will ultimately survive because the others will be eaten by predators and unfortunately by pollution. They will confuse plastics in the ocean with squid, which is their main diet, and that would probably cause their death. That's quite sad. But at least there's a much better chance now of that 1 in 1,000 to survive in this venture. And then, while they're being released on the beach, they actually program their magnetic compass to capture what we will call GPS coordinates of this location. And once they mature, after 15, 20, 30 years, thousands of kilometers of swimming in the ocean, they will come back to the very same beach where they've been born, and they would there mate again out in the ocean, and the females would then come up on the beach and lay their eggs again.
I have to say too that the Filipino people are very passionate about the turtles. Volunteers helping us out. Can you explain that too?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's totally people with passion. Sometimes these projects do attract some grants from government on a single project basis, but it's not a sustaining practice, and they're totally dependent on donations. So they don't have the funds to actually pay for staff, and therefore the staffing that you see there is people that are all volunteers, and it's just making their life's passion to actually do this. So it is an amazing thing of the people around here who's realized the value of looking after our environment, and therefore for ecotourism to eventually overtake the economic value of fishing and just harvesting from the ocean.
So Rhino, this is exactly what we were talking about. The little turtles here. This is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Tell me about right here, what's happening.
Right. So these little turtles here, they hatched early this morning. So they came out of this nest that were transferred from the beach to the hatchery right here behind us. And then these little fellows hatched through the night. And here they are. Here's this beautiful little turtle. And each one of these will now be released on the beach and guarded until it gets into the ocean, and therefore it will definitely survive the biggest risk in its life, and that's the period on the beach and obviously before and while it was hatching.
Do you think they're instinctive of what's going on?
Well, the one thing that I do know about them is that that walk on the beach for them, because when we release them, we don't put them in the water, we put them at least 4 meters away from the ocean. That period on the beach that they spend walking towards the water, that's the time when they program in their minds the exact location of their place of birth. And many years later, they will come back to this exact same spot to mate in the sea out there, and then to come for the female to come and lay the eggs in the same place where she was hatching maybe 50 years ago or even longer than that.
This one's going to remember you.
Fantastic. It's going to think I'm his mama.
Yeah. And you're saying that these were hatched today?
These were hatched early this morning, yeah. What the sanctuary does is that they will only keep them here for people like us to actually experience them, see them, observe them, and to help with the release. But they will release them by latest noon today, so that they are not outside of their cycle. You see, the thing is, they've got to swim now out into the ocean to get a couple of 2-3 kilometers away from the beach, and that they've got to do as fast as possible with all of the energy that is stored inside them, still part of the albumin of the eggs. So you said, if you keep them too long, then they dissipate too much energy, and then they're at risk of being eaten by predators in the shallow waters before they reach the open sea.